Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today, which will soon be a beautifully finished facility that will make the borough of Etna proud to have Westinghouse as a neighbor. My name is John Ball, and I'm the president of Evinci Technologies here at Westinghouse. And I'm honored to be joined by many distinguished leaders from our local, state, and federal government, partners from the nuclear industry, and colleagues from Westinghouse, individuals that have made this day a reality. Now, I may be the newest member of the Westinghouse team, arriving in early June, but I joined the team because of the tremendous opportunity to accelerate this amazing technology we call Evinci, a technology that the world needs. I'm humbled to work with a world-class team of engineers and other professionals who will help Westinghouse develop, license, and commercialize the Evinci microreactor technology out of this facility. It's a momentous day in the long history of Westinghouse, and one that has stretched for 130 years. And in the somewhat shorter history of Evinci, a technology that we truly believe has the ability to change lives and the livelihood for the better. And we're going to talk more about the Evinci technology later in the program, but I would first like to thank Governor Shapiro and Secretary Siger for working with Westinghouse on a grant through the Pennsylvania First program that will help make this a premier facility and grow jobs here in Pennsylvania. My thanks also to Dr. Katie Huff and to the Department of Energy for their indispensable support through the years through a number of grants, including the Advanced Reactor Demonstration Program, as well as the National Reactor Innovation Center that has helped Evinci and Westinghouse develop this technology, and we strongly value this continued partnership with the Office of Nuclear Energy at the Department of Energy. Now, this is just the beginning, and we expect very strong support and growth for our Evinci microreactor that will ultimately benefit the Commonwealth for many years to come, and we appreciate the strategic partnership with local and state officials. Now it is my honor to first introduce Scott Walkowitz, a partner from the AM Group. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Welcome to the Governor and his office, Allegheny County, the Allegheny Conference, the Department of Energy, and Westinghouse to Etna. We would not be standing here today celebrating this achievement without so many people and groups who have helped make this happen. And so this is a big thank you from us to all these groups. Thanks to the Borough of Etna for a welcoming and supportive stance on the development from day one, when this was just an idea. Thanks to the Shaler School District, Etna Borough, and Allegheny County for working with us throughout the project and helping us achieve Alerta. Thanks to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the RCAP and multimodal grants. Thanks to the Governor, our state senator, and state representative. Thank you to our business partners, many of them here, and our lender, Penn Trust, for their faith, trust, and investment. Thank you to Jones Lang LaSalle. We could not have gotten off the ground without them. Thanks to the design team led by Desmond for taking the vision and creating a plan. Another thank you to Westinghouse for trusting us with this space to create history. Last but most importantly, thanks to all of our contractors, led by Dick Building Company and now Turner for the interior fit-out, and the construction workers for their skill in making the vision and plan a reality. None of this would be possible without your hard work. It is now my pleasure to introduce Stephanie Pashman from the Allegheny Conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. More than a century ago, George Westinghouse started a company not very far from here that would revolutionize many industries, energy most significantly. And what's more, 80 years ago, the CEO of that company joined Richard King Mellon and a group of business leaders to establish the Allegheny Conference, considered to be the nation's first public-private partnership. They believed in the power of partnership to take the best of southwestern Pennsylvania and make it even better, improving its economic future and the quality of life that this region offers. These visionaries invented a model of civic leadership that is still driving this region today. This spirit of collaboration that's at the core is as alive today as it was some 80 years ago. And the work they did then and the work of civic leaders today is done in service to the brightest possible future for Pittsburgh, a region defined by community, creativity, resilience, and grit. Etna is a place that embodies these qualities. The residents of this borough came together a decade ago to reimagine their future as part of the Allegheny County Community Trails Initiative. This initiative has served as a pathway to opportunity for Etna and 15 other communities all the way from the city of Pittsburgh to Freeport. Westinghouse has chosen to be part of the Etna community, making an investment that stands to expand what's next in energy, create jobs and opportunity for a workforce that'll be shaping a clean energy future. This is a tribute to the company's leadership, their pioneering vision, and a belief in what is possible. The Evinci microreactor will completely revolutionize access to nuclear energy, clean energy that advances decarbonization. The microreactor's portability will provide access to carbon-free energy that can power the most remote places, areas that could experience major natural and man-made disasters, or certain industrial applications. Revolutionary is truly the best characterization of this project, one made possible by transformative leadership. I personally want to thank Westinghouse CEO Patrick Fragman and his exceptional team for their continued commitment to our region and for giving us a groundbreaking example that further says to the world that Pittsburgh is forging the future of energy. And I want to also thank Governor Shapiro and Secretary Siger for your commitment to Pittsburgh and for your partnership, which have made this project possible. And with that, I would like to introduce one of my partners, the County Executive, Rich Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Stephanie. And boy, what a great day this is for Allegheny County and southwestern Pennsylvania. I too want to echo Stephanie's words and thank Westinghouse for their commitment to this community. Etna is a great, great community that's certainly seeing better days as the optimism in this community have really come around in this place that so much history has happened. And as you look around, and I want to thank the governor and the secretary both. You know, I remember being here. You've been around as long as I have. You kind of remember some of these things, but I remember being here about 3 or 4 years ago when we really were starting this, the groundbreaking of this institution and this building coming around. And it's great to see the representative, the newly elected representative, Powell, who's here today. I remember a former representative who was in my office. Yeah, give her a hand. You got to get to know this woman. She's going to represent this community. But I also represented about 4 or 5 years, remember about 4 or 5 years ago when your predecessor, State Representative Sarah Inamorata, was in my office banging on the table saying, we got to get this investment, we got to get an RCAP for this project. And, you know, she did that along with Senator Costa and former Governor Wolf, you know, making sure that we made these investments. I also see former Secretary Davin is here today as well, was part of that investment. And to see Governor Shapiro and Secretary Siger continue that on, knowing, and it was just with the governor last week when he was in Westmoreland County with Secretary Granholm, knowing that this region is going to lead in energy, something we have been doing for over 100 years, and we will continue to do in the next generation of energy, and this place exemplifies exactly how that's going to happen and where we're going to go. I also know that this building is being transformed by the best building trades that we have in this country. And I see Tom McIntyre and Steve Mazza here from the electricians and the carpenters. When our building trades build something, it gets built well, it gets built on time, and it gets built under budget. This is a great project. Yeah, let's give those guys a hand. They deserve it. This is a great project and a great for the future of Aetna and the Allegheny Valley and this whole region and this innovation district, as we call it, and a great place to attract young people, to attract talented folks who are going to be part of the next generation of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County's transformation. I am so excited to be here today and to be part of this. Again, Westinghouse, thank you. Governor, thank you. All the great things that are happening here. Partnership has made this happen. Let's keep moving forward. So with that, I get to introduce another good friend who is the secretary now, but we were working with him back when he had his big job at CMU, and he's doing a great job as Secretary Shapiro's DCED secretary, and that's my good friend, Rick Sager. Secretary?
Well, thanks so much, everyone. It's amazing to be here with all these dignitaries, many of whom have been recognized. I do want to recognize a couple more folks, some folks from our governor's action team in DCED. Brent Vernon, Eric Bitar are here today. Two guys instrumental to getting this work done. And I also want to give a special shout out to Dennis Davin, who I gather is here, my predecessor. Hi, Dennis. I don't see you out there, but good to see you. Today's announcement's another start of another chapter in a long history of innovation in Pennsylvania. And of course, as has been said, Westinghouse has been a major character in that story for like 130 years. And from that day forward, Westinghouse has developed and manufactured new technologies that have revolutionized energy and electronics right here in Pennsylvania. Evinci is a huge step forward in that innovation story. It will enable a powerful source of energy to be portable, reliable, and safe enough to deploy in areas that need it most. Places like disaster relief scenarios or remote locations. And as we shift to a clean energy future, we need solutions like Evinci so we can have flexible, carbon-free energy sources that meet our diverse and growing energy demands. And here's something that's really incredible to me. It was announced just a couple months ago that Westinghouse, along with Pittsburgh-based Astrobotic, were interested in partnering to put a version of this reactor on the moon. Think about it. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Etna, Pennsylvania, sorry. We're talking about a Pennsylvania-developed microreactor loaded onto a Pennsylvania-developed lunar lander to create a stable source of energy on the moon. If that's not a sign of the state of innovation here, I don't know what is. And it's thanks to the amazing talent in companies like Westinghouse that we're blazing new trails in the Commonwealth. We see it in Department of Community and Economic Development as one of our most important roles to do everything we can to support the continued growth and success of our innovation ecosystem, and that's especially true in clean energy technology. That's why we're really proud to be supporting this project with a grant. It's not just about developing the latest and greatest technologies here. It's about creating and retaining family-sustaining jobs for the world-class talent we have here in Pennsylvania. It's about stronger communities with a higher quality of life for everyone, making an area more attractive for new residents and new businesses. Just look, for example, at how this project is taking an underutilized industrial property and turning it into an amazing driver of technology, innovation, and economic growth. In the comprehensive economic development strategy that my team is developing in the coming months, we've been really focused on innovation and competitiveness as primary goals. This project is an outstanding example of these goals in action. When we work with partners like Westinghouse, like the Allegheny Conference and others to win a project like this one, we're growing our economy and raising the standard of living for Pennsylvanians, all while advancing our clean energy future. It feels like a win-win to me. Congratulations to Westinghouse on this incredible new investment to create the next generation of clean energy technology, and thank you to the CEO, Patrick Fragman, and your whole team at Westinghouse for choosing Pennsylvania as the location to do it. It's now my great honor to introduce a federal partner of ours, Dr. Katie Huff, Assistant Secretary of Energy for the Office of Nuclear Energy at the U.S. Department of Energy. Katie.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, everyone on this stage. You have amazing local and state leaders here with you. It is also my great honor to thank you all for having me here from the federal government. I assure you, this region, Pittsburgh and its surrounding areas, no doubt Etna, have a rich history in nuclear energy. Right from the very beginning of bringing nuclear power onto the grid at Shippingport. It's really fitting that we're now coming up to the 70th anniversary of one of the most famous speeches President Eisenhower ever gave, the Atoms for Peace speech, as Shippingport was the first plant devoted to peaceful uses of nuclear energy, not just for electricity generation, but also as an experimental reactor that helped to advance nuclear technology and science. Atoms for Peace grew out of a time of crisis, and that's exactly what we now face. We are in a race to bring advanced nuclear energy technology to the market as swiftly as conceivably possible to help tackle climate change and meet some diverse energy community needs. Microreactors like Evinci can provide important options for communities looking to transition to a clean energy future, in particular for remote communities and austere environments or independent microgrids that often currently rely on diesel generators. The Evinci Accelerator here is a response to that urgency that we face as we attempt to build out that clean energy future. This kind of leadership that you have here, we need more of. We need this kind of approach that brings the right people together with real leadership, transformational leadership from your state and local leaders to hash out real-world solutions and deliver on the promise of advanced clean energy technology like nuclear reactors. I'm thrilled to share that DOE just yesterday announced our selection of Westinghouse along with Radiant Nuclear and Ultrasafe Nuclear Corporation for funding for the front-end engineering and experiment design studies that will be necessary to test this reactor one day in the Dome facility out in Idaho. So congratulations again. This feed process at Idaho National Laboratory will bring 3 microreactor designs, Kaleidos, Pylon, and of course Evinci, one step closer to reality. So thank you for inviting me to see this historic facility. It's stunning. It's clear that this region of Western Pennsylvania and Westinghouse are continuing a really strong legacy of nuclear energy innovation right here in Pennsylvania. So congratulations. I'd like to thank you all, and I get to announce that the next speaker is none other than President and CEO of Westinghouse, Patrick Fragman.
Dear Governor Shapiro, Secretary Seiger, Assistant Secretary Huff, County Executive Federal, esteemed officials, dear colleagues, thank you for joining us today. This is an exciting day for Evinci, it's an exciting day for Westinghouse, it's an exciting day for Pennsylvania. First, let's share a fun fact. In this very same location, about a century ago, piping was being made out of Pittsburgh steel. We intend to use steel, the same steel or slightly modified steel, to design meshes that will be core components in our microreactor Evinci, which will provide power on the land, on the sea, and in the space, not only in the moon, but also in Mars and beyond. We want to thank our partners from the state of Pennsylvania, the Department of Energy, the Borough of Etna, my friends at the Allegheny Conference, as well as the AM Group, for the support we've received to enable us to advance the development of Evinci through this very special facility. Saying that we have high hopes on Evinci is an understatement. It will be a game changer. It's a battery. Think of it as a battery, but a special one, a super efficient and simple one, requiring no water, no pumps, operating 24/7, 365 days a year, for at least 8 years uninterrupted before being refueled and going again for another cycle of at least 8 years. Evinci is designed to provide not only carbon-free electricity but also heat for residential and industrial applications, and clean hydrogen when the demand will be there. Evinci will operate seamlessly and flexibly with intermittent renewable sources on the future grids. The users of Evinci will be very diverse. As said earlier by other speakers, we're talking remote communities, universities, mining operations, industrial centers, data centers, defense facilities, emergency relief, It's those type of innovations that will create even more usage as the penetration of the technology goes on. It will be a very long and growing list of applications and users. Most of these users, if not all of these users, today rely on costly and polluting fossil fuels. Evinci will replace that with safe, cost-competitive, and carbon-free nuclear energy. This facility will enable and accelerate Evinci's development. It's within close proximity to some of the finest world universities: Carnegie Mellon, Penn State, New Kensington, and University of Pittsburgh. All these universities are already partnering with Westinghouse on this breakthrough technology. We're proud of our heritage in Pennsylvania. Not too far from here, as said earlier, we built the first commercial reactor here in the US, in Shippingport. This new space will attract new talent to grow further our team in a tech-driven market, attracting also customers, stakeholders, partners. These are very exciting times for nuclear energy, exciting times for Westinghouse, and we couldn't do without the vision and leadership of Governor Shapiro, Secretary Siger, and their commitment to growing clean energy jobs in the Commonwealth. We couldn't do it without the Department of Energy and its support for advanced reactor technologies like Evinci. Thank you to the Allegheny Conference for all your dedication to Southwest Pennsylvania. You're a tremendous advocate of our industry as well. And finally, thank you to the communities that have welcomed us for the past 125 years, and we intend it to be another adventure of at least another 125 years. With that, I'm pleased to welcome the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Patrick, and it is good to see everyone here. I want to say thank you, Patrick, to you and to the Westinghouse family for betting on Western Pennsylvania for the last century and nearly century and a half, for caring about us, for believing in us, and for innovating here. We appreciate your leadership very much. And speaking of leadership, let me thank my good friend who spoke before us, our county executive, Rich Fitzgerald, who has seen this project and so many others through. And as he commented before, there are several elected leaders who are here in this room who pushed him and others to get this done. Of course, the newest member of our House delegation, Representative Lindsay Powell, thank you for your leadership. The head of our Allegheny County delegation, Representative Nick Piscitano, thank you, Nick. And finally, former Representative Sarah Innamorato, who pushed this project through because she understood just how critically important this is, not just for Allegheny County, but Etna in particular. I want you to know how grateful I am for your collective leadership. And to our friends at Westinghouse, I just want to say thank you. At every step along the way, you have been focused on innovation in the energy sector. Heck, George Westinghouse's work developing the alternating current system, it practically created the modern energy system that we rely on today, because that's the type of electricity that powers our homes and our businesses, that runs through transmission lines coast to coast. We literally couldn't live without it. So every time you see the letters AC at the hardware store and an outlet, you should thank Westinghouse. And you should also thank a member of IBEW Local 5 who probably installed that along the way. Thank you, Tom McIntyre, to you and your members. Westinghouse's legacy extends quite far. They developed the nation's first commercial radio station, KDKA. I see you hiding right over there by the speaker. I'm pretty sure Marty Griffin was the original host way back when KDKA started right here in Pittsburgh. They built the world's first commercial pressurized water nuclear reactors, beginning a new chapter in power generation. Westinghouse did that work. And so today's announcement is just the latest in a long line of Westinghouse innovations. It is also what we have come to expect from the great innovation and leadership that we get from here at Westinghouse. Each one of these is a result of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania being a leader in energy across the globe, a legacy that is particularly strong and storied right here in Western Pennsylvania. You know, the coal mines and the oil fields of Western PA, well, that fueled the Industrial Revolution, which created good jobs. It quite literally lifted people out of poverty. It powered the middle class, and it led to the creation of the modern-day American labor movement. When fascism threatened freedom overseas, it was this region, right here in Western Pennsylvania, that produced the energy that made the arsenal of democracy the most powerful manufacturing base in the world. And now we're continuing that legacy today. After Texas, a state more than twice as large as Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is the second largest net energy supplier in our country. And I want you to know we are not slowing down, we are only speeding up. We are doubling down on our energy strategy, particularly clean energy, right here in Pennsylvania. The work that will be done right here in Etna is further proof of that. It's an example of how we are working together, government, business, labor, to get stuff done for the good people of Pennsylvania and to, again, power this nation and those around the globe. Through their commitment today, Westinghouse is pledging to further develop the Evinci project right here in Western PA. And as you've heard, a part of that project, they will develop and commercialize safe, zero-emissions microreactors. Parts of those microreactors are going to be built right here, where you're standing here in Etna. And this technology, I believe, has the capacity to be a total game changer in the energy sector. Instead of relying on oil delivered by tanker trucks, for example, overseas military or remote communities will have their own energy source as Westinghouse gets this right. Westinghouse's microreactors can provide electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for nearly a decade without refueling. That's the equivalent of nearly 11,000 tanker trucks of diesel fuel. Consider that. And these reactors will be 100% factory built, meaning they can be deployed quickly to disaster zones when needed. They can help stabilize an otherwise unstable geopolitical environment. Perhaps most importantly, these microreactors will produce clean energy with no emissions. At a time when we're seeing the impacts of climate change with stronger, more frequent storms, with warmer, wetter weather affecting everything from our schools to our farmers' crops, we need to connect the dots. We can't ignore the science here, and we need to understand that now is a moment to invest in clean energy technology like this. I also think it's really important to note that we do not have to sacrifice the energy economy or our position as a leader in the nation or across the globe in the name of combating climate change. That is a false choice. We can do both, and Westinghouse is a great example of that. I believe Pennsylvania should play a central role in all of those efforts, and that is why my administration's energy policy is focused on the future and focused on lifting up companies like Westinghouse and supporting the kind of work they're doing here with Evinci. We're going to have a policy that ensures we have a diverse and reliable portfolio of energy resources that fosters innovation, that protects our communities and our planet, and that creates a lot of family-sustaining jobs right here in our Commonwealth. I think at this point, 9 months into my term, you all know I'm competitive as hell. I want to win at everything. I want to be first at everything. I hate to lose, and I want Pennsylvania to be the best. And that is why I think today's announcement is so important, and it dovetails in with that. Because not only does this mean dozens of new, good-paying jobs right here in Allegheny County, but it means a significant investment in innovation. You heard the President and CEO, Patrick, talk about that. The nexus between the work that is done here and our great institutions like Pitt and CMU and Penn State New Ken. We've got an opportunity to connect the dots, create jobs, and be a leader in the nation. Innovation has the chance to shake up the power industry and be revolutionary in how we think of nuclear power. And that is why the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania was proud to support this project directly. with over $1 million in my administration and more than $3 million committed during my predecessor, Governor Wolf's administration, to help make sure we redevelop this site right here in Etna. And I want you to know our commitment to this region will continue in a big way. The lessons for those of us in the public sector is clear. If we're going to be successful, we need to invest in our future, and good clean energy like this is our future. We're going to support these jobs, and we're going to continue to grow our economy. I hope that lawmakers from both parties continue to come together to support Pennsylvania-based innovation and job creation and give us the resources that we need to succeed, the resources we need to compete with our neighboring states and across the U.S. Pennsylvania has been a leader in energy for as long as Westinghouse has been based here in the Pittsburgh area. And today, we have the opportunity to build on that great legacy and be the leader when it comes to clean energy. To take advantage of these great moments, we've got to continue to work together and usher in new chapters like the one we join here to usher in today. I'm proud to be the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm incredibly proud to have partners like those behind me, and I am so bullish on the future of Western Pennsylvania and our clean energy economy. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.